What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to do things a little bit different than how I usually do things on this channel. Instead of doing a let's talk about, a let's review, or any of those types of videos that I do, I'm going to be talking about manga that I own that is in different languages. I own Japanese, English, and Spanish language mangas. I also even just randomly have one in German, and we're going to talk about that different. We're going to talk about different stuff just to kind of break things up a little bit, because most of the stuff that I do on this channel is for the most part in English. Though when I do hauls and stuff, I do talk about some stuff that is in Spanish or whatever that I pick up for that month. But I think that it's worthy. I think it's worth talking about stuff that's come out that is in other languages, because I do have subs that are in other countries, and I'm sure some of the people that watch these videos probably don't even read manga in English. You probably, for all I know, read it in a completely different language than English. I know one dude had shown me his manga collection that was in like German or something like that. It's just wild, to see that there's so many different languages in which manga is, available. It's also available in French from what I've seen. So I wanted to show you. I have a pretty small Spanish collection. I also have a couple of them in Japanese, and I have one in German randomly because I thought it was Spanish and it turned out to be German. So I'm going to show you my collection, and we'll talk about each thing. And this will be just like a short, quick video, just to break it up a little bit between all the different stuff that I have going on this channel. So stick around. We're going to talk about some manga that I think is worth your time. So I've been learning Japanese on and off for a long time, and sadly, it's been more off than on. And in that time, I have this is a gift from a friend of mine who went to Japan. And I feel like I've talked about these before, but this is a Junji Ito collection. These are the first 3 volumes of that Junji Ito collection, completely in Japanese. These are right here. I'm not sure how old this is, how old these volumes are, but she got them in Japan and gave them to me. And there's another one that she also has that I can't remember the name of, that she's also gonna give me, but she decided to keep that one for herself. And like I said, I've been on and off learning Japanese forever. So I'm like, my goal is to one day be able to actually like understand, actually understand these. Like I kind of understand like the kana there, like the katakana there. Manga right there. It says manga, so I understand that part, and that's about it. That's all the Japanese on there that I understand. I can read hiragana and katakana, and I know like a super limited amount of Japanese, and I know this is like gonna be really brutal trying to read Japanese, like read manga, Japanese manga in Japanese. You know what I mean? And it's just really cool to see, like the way that it was originally written, the way that was initially, essentially intended to be consumed. Though now we live in more of an era where like you can get stuff like simul dubbed, like as soon as a thing comes out in Japan, it's already in English as well. We get it translated into English almost right away. So that's pretty cool. It's really awesome to see that sort of thing happen. And yeah, these are my Junji Ito ones that are pretty prized for me, thanks to my friend who went to Japan several years ago and gave me these. So yeah, if you own manga in any other language, I'd love to know what you own, what series they are. There's a lot of stuff that isn't available in English, and one of the creators that like I really would love to own more stuff by is Osamaru Furuya, and I do have, I think, like one or two Osamaru Furuya stories here, and there's other stuff that he created that never got translated into English, which is kind of a shame. But I'd love to be able to read more of his stuff, and I have Suicide Club right here. Only this is the Spanish version, so this is El Club del Suicidio. I saw the film Suicide Club an eternity ago for the first time when I was like 18 years old. And I've talked about this before. I used to watch YouTube videos where like it was like a bunch of little there was like you could watch anime in like 3 parts, you could watch films in like a bunch of parts, and I saw Suicide Club on YouTube in that way an eternity ago, in just like a bunch of parts, and I now own Suicide Club on DVD. I think it's available actually on Blu-ray officially now, but I got the DVD before it was available officially on Blu-ray, and I started reading it a while ago and then just never finished it. So I'm probably just gonna end up starting it back from scratch, and I'm always just careful. I don't want to pull up any panels that may have anything inappropriate, but this is a classic story. Like like I said, I saw the film forever ago, and there's that iconic scene, like where the girls jump off of the platform. If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to say too much or show too much of it because I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, this is a classic manga by Osamu Furuya, who I did Osamu Furuya's The Music of Marie. I did a video about that manga, and maybe eventually I'll do one about this if I ever actually get around to finishing it. But it's cool, it's I like that. At least like if you are a person who can speak multiple languages, you can find manga in just different languages and be able to consume it even though it isn't, available in English. So that's something that to me is as a, bilingual person, I think that is a pretty cool thing, and I hope that some of this stuff does get translated into English for anybody that maybe doesn't speak a second language, or the second language you speak, there's no manga that has been sadly, made available in that language, unless you read scans or whatever, which like I don't have anything against that because it at least allows people to consume things that may never get an English translation. Though, yeah, I mean, who knows? I guess it all depends on like whether or not there's a chance of it being popular in English. Like, is it going to sell? Because if it doesn't sell, then what's the point of translating it? I think that's the way they look at it. Not based on like a handful of people maybe wanting it in English, but like, will it pull in numbers? Because if it's not going to pull in numbers, then they're just wasting time, printing it and whatnot. So yeah, I guess there's like a lot that goes into it. I've got Triage X in German. I thought this was a Spanish version for whatever reason. I don't remember if I thought this was a Spanish version or if I thought this was the English version, but I got it from Amazon. And yeah, Triage X has got to be one of the hardest manga series to collect. It's been out of print. A lot of volumes are out of print, and they bring certain volumes back into print, if I'm not mistaken, or something. And there's even more of it still coming out. It's like volume 24 or 25 just dropped. I have volumes 1 and 3 in English. I have this randomly in German, and for whatever reason I just never returned it. I decided to hold on to it because I thought it was funny that I received a German volume of Triage X. That's just funny to me because like I know like a handful of words of German. Like I really don't know. I gotta be careful with what I show you. I don't really know much German at all. I have a friend who is German, and I speak German. I say just random shit in German to him that like he taught me, words that he taught me, or things that like I use Duolingo to kind of like study Japanese. Though I'd been studying Japanese much earlier, and like I used to use a textbook and I learned a bunch of phrases, and then I just fell off with it. But I use Duolingo now to try to like get back into Japanese, and I started taking a German course, and in my taking the German course on Duolingo, I just learned random words. Like I introduced my friend to my mom once, and I was like, "Das ist mein Mutter," and I apologize if that is incorrect, because that is probably 100% incorrect, and I probably just like offended all of my German speaking viewers. We got Tatsuki Fujimoto's Volume 12 of Chainsaw Man. This is not in English yet, but it should have an English translation pretty soon. Norma Editorial. I don't know if I've mentioned them yet, but I've bought a lot of manga that's released by Norma Editorial. I haven't bought these volumes directly from Norma Editorial, but I do get them through like random third-party sellers or whatever that release that carry like Spanish language manga and whatnot. Given that this isn't gonna be released in English until like October of this year, I thought it would be really cool to just get it in Japanese, because I was gonna do a Let's review for this, and I might actually still do it. I might still do the Let's review. I know I've mentioned this a million times, like I'm a huge Datsuki Fujimoto fan. I love his artwork. I love the story he tells with Chainsaw Man. I've been a big fan. I own Fire Punch. I own pretty much everything that I think that is available in English. Buddy Stories just right now, like 2-3 days ago, dropped in English. So now I own that. And yeah, I might still do the Let's Review with this in Spanish since it's still a while before, the English version of this drops. And like I really want to get a Yoru tattoo because I love Yoru. Is that chick right there on the cover? Like I love her so much. And I've got Makima right there. I've talked about this a million times. That I got Makima on my arm. That is one of my favorite series ever. And because it comes out much earlier in Spanish, so I kind of have the dilemma where like I don't know if I'm gonna continue to like collect these in Spanish. Since I started with 12 or not. It's gonna be kind of random to just have volume 12 in Spanish and then the rest of it be in English. So I might end up just giving this to my dad or something. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. This is a recent acquisition for me, and this is something that I've been really excited about picking up. And I've talked about Sekisei Inko a bunch on this channel, just saying that like I've been wanting to get my hands on it. This is Ken Wakui, who is also responsible for Desert Eagle and for a really good series called Tokyo Revengers, which is one of my favorite series that I've both read and the anime. I've not started the second season of the anime, but I liked a good chunk of the first season of the anime. So it's really cool to own this, that this is available in Spanish as it is not available in English. So I have not been able to, for that reason, get it added to the collection in any other manner other than Spanish. But I mean, this dude's artwork and just the way the characters look in Sekisei Inko, the artwork is sick, and these are like hefty. There's another volume of this that is out, and I gotta pick it up. Once I do, I will have the whole complete set for Sekisei Inko, and it's pretty cool that like they did these huge omnibus volumes of it for Norma editorial. I don't know if it's gonna be the same deal if it ever gets translated into English. I don't know if it's gonna have these hefty volumes or if it's gonna be in like single volumes or whatever. How that's gonna happen. But given that it's essentially like two omnibus volumes, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, the same way in English. And for Norma editorial, Gen Wakui did these cards. This came with my Sekisei Inko volume, and I talked about this I think in my last haul video. I think I mentioned that this card came with it because I actually picked up a bunch of random Spanish language manga in my last haul. We got another one that is also not available in English. This is Sunken Rock by Boichi, who is responsible for the, I guess, mega success that is Dr. Stone. And it's kind of funny, dude, if you look at like Dr. Stone, and I mean, there's definitely adultish type of things going on in Dr. Stone. Like there's like the scantily clad girls and whatnot. But this is like hardcore scantily clad. Like if you like The Breaker, I think you'll like Sunken Rock, or vice versa. If you like Sunken Rock, you'll probably like The Breaker. I can't show you the back because there's some seriously adult stuff going on. I can show you the back of this one because that's not as bad. But yeah, this one I cannot show you the back of. This is something that I've been wanting to collect for a while, and I finally got like the first 4 volumes of Sunken Rock. So there's volume 1. I got volume 2 here. Give you a little bit of a better look at these. I should be doing that anyway. So that's the second volume right there of Sunken Rock. And then we got volume 3 right here for Sunken Rock. And then, be careful with what I show you. There's volume 4. I'm sorry, this is giving you motion sickness. I got the camera set up right next to where my dog is sitting, and he's like shaking the hell out of it. But these are gorgeous, dude. I love looking at them. The thing about speaking of Spanish language manga is it comes with these slipcases that I can't really show you the inside of because there's even more like half naked women in it, and it's kind of risky. But yeah, I love these covers, dude. I love these covers that they have for it, and it's literally the same cover as the Japanese version. I don't think they do much alteration there, Though sometimes it seems like it, like when you see the Japanese version and then you see like the American version, or not the American version, but the English version of a manga, it'll have like a slightly different cover. Like the same as like it's like the same deal with like Chainsaw Man. If you look at like the Japanese Chainsaw Man covers and you look at like the English Chainsaw Man covers, like the colors, I feel like are a lot more vibrant in the Japanese Chainsaw Man, and they're like a little more muted in the English Chainsaw Man. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but I swear that's what it feels like, because I have looked at the Japanese Chainsaw Man volumes, and they do to me look like a lot brighter, a lot flashier, and in the English they look a little more like flat. So I don't know if I'm wrong there. I mean, please tell me in the comments if you agree or if you disagree. I wanted to save the best for last. This is a series that I hope one day actually does get translated into English. This is Jagan. This is one of my favorite series. This was actually the first thing that I started collecting in Spanish, and this is a great series. I talk about it all the time. I did a video about Jagan forever ago, like a year ago I think at this point. But these are the normal editorial versions of it. This is also available by a publisher called Panini, which is Mexican, and Norma Editorial is from Spain. I think I mentioned that already. I'm not sure if I did, but it feels really good to have completed this whole series. I have the whole thing. That's volume 5 there. And I mean, if it ever does, get an English translation, I will pick it up again from scratch to own it in English. Even though like I'm extremely grateful that, Norma Editorial picked these up and put them out in Spanish, because it's been a journey. It's been a joy too to just like own these volumes, to own them physically, because I'm like such a huge proponent, for physical media. And if you watch my channel, if you've been watching my channel for a while, that I'm a huge fan, a huge proponent, for physical media. Yeah, this is something that I came across, on the internet, as you do with cult series. And there's 13, and then there's 14. So I want to show you these two, because these are my Panini ones. So 12 right here, this is by Panini, and I was actually thinking about, and this one right here, 14 is also by Panini, and 14 has some of my favorite artwork. 14 has some of my favorite artwork from all these volumes, because the rest of them are like kind of like darkish looking. So these volumes up to 9, 1 through 9 are all white, and then the rest of it to close it out are black. So I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't even really think about it until like, I picked up 10 and then 11, and just pretty much down the line, the rest of them all just stay black. I'm assuming that's because the story gets so dark that there is no other way. There is no other way to, to get across that like you're reading something that's like going to be really screwed up and edgy or whatever. But if not for randomly finding the Spanish volume of Jagan, I think it's available in German as well. I don't know if it's available in French or not. I think it is, actually. I think it's available in Italian as well. So that's the kind of thing that bugs me a bit, dude. It's like, it's available in like all these languages. So like, why isn't Jagan available in English? And, there could be any multitude of reasons, why it's not available in English. For all I know, Dark Horse has tried to pick it up, or even Seven Seas or something has tried to pick it up, and they just maybe haven't been able to do that because whoever the license holder is in Japan doesn't want to let it go in English, because maybe they don't think it'll sell well in English or something. But I mean, with the success of, Kaneshiro Moriyuki's other story, Blue Lock, that story's done exceptionally well here. It's like, I think it might be one of the best-selling mangas. I know the anime is doing extremely well. And based on that, you would think that they would maybe want to take a chance. Somebody would be down to take a chance. They're taking a chance on Innocent. They took a chance on Homunculus. Homunculus is like a pretty older series, and it's a phenomenal series. It's a cult classic, and I did a video about Homunculus. But, because of the fact that it's maybe so fringe, that Jagan is so fringe, maybe that's why they're not taking any chances on it. But I mean, at the same time, they also did Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. We got the first 5 omnibuses of Kurosagi, and there's supposed to be a 6th omnibus at whatever point in time. I'm just that dude that like, I'm going to collect it no matter the language it's in. If I can read in that language, I will collect manga in it. Eventually, I will be able to speak Japanese like more fluently, because right now I can, understand tiny bits of it, and I can basically like get around in a childish way, I guess, if you will. Like I speak about as much Japanese as a like 3-month-old might, which is like not much Japanese at all. But I mean, I know enough that like I could, get around asking like really simple questions, as long as they just say hi or soul desu ne or something, you know what I mean? Like I'll understand what they're saying to me. Yeah, I mean, Spanish, English, 100% can read, that stuff. And there's just so much stuff out there that is available and that's been made available in other languages. And I think that's really cool that, that these publishers or these, license holders or whatever are willing to let these series go in other languages. And, because I never knew, because I only read it in English. I never knew, it never even crossed my mind that it would be available, in Spanish or like French or Italian or whatever, just like all these different languages that you are able to read manga in, because they're just languages that I never spoke. And I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know that jargon existed in Spanish until I typed it in one day, just out of curiosity, to see if there was an English translation of it, and I saw the Spanish one by Norma, and I was just like, I'll check that out. And it started from there. It snowballed, and there's other stuff that I'd love to get my hands on, but it's not as easy to get, Spanish language manga here, because it comes usually from like, I usually get stuff from like the Netherlands. There's a seller in the Netherlands that I get a lot of manga from, and that's where I got a good chunk of my jargon stuff from. Before that, I used to get it from Book Depository, which Amazon owned, and then Amazon killed Book Depository, and so I've had to go to like other measures to get my Spanish manga. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm grateful to have what I have. I'm grateful for everything that I've amassed. I have a deep love and appreciation for the art form, and I'm sure you do as well. I hope you're still watching. I know this is a huge video. I didn't mean for it to be this long, but I kind of rambled. I didn't know what I was doing. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do, and it wasn't until I sat down and started recording that I realized that this was a huge mistake. I mean, I hope that you at least liked this. I'm sorry that it got so long, but I really didn't. It became too rambly, and maybe the next time I do something like this, I'll try to condense it a little bit more. So, yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching this. I'm sorry that this became a huge mess. This was just chaos incarnate. Everything that just could go chaotic went chaotic. So, thank you for watching. I hope I can somehow salvage this video. Please take care of yourselves.
By the hands of God, I stand as a wrench between your wheeling cog. Fastening my belt, bracing myself to withstand against all odds. Himself shadow runners, battle ready, murder dogs. Rip the skin off your horses, triumph and smash the sorceress. Lethal forces, the failure of your ambitions is more painful than divorces. Smash your dome piece on the doorway, when the door hits, that's it. Call it quits, zipped up in plastic, cremated, melted like elastic. Dreams don't mean shit, in this life they don't exist.